Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, I went to the valley where I heard there lives a tree. And if I can meet its apple, then I'll learn my destiny. But it was gone. Yeah, it was gone. So I walked through the mountains and across the open field. Where I heard there was a fountain, all the people go get his. It was gone. Yeah, it was gone. So I'm on my way to the only place I've ever known. By the river, by the river, that can help me escape from a life I feel I've long outgrown. By the river, oh, by the river, it's gonna take me away, gonna take me away. I'll be gone. By the river, by the river, by the river, it's gonna take me away to a far better place I belong. By the river, by the river, by the river. Well, I came across a gypsy who led me to a well, and when I drank its water, I fell under her spell. I was gone, yeah, so gone. So I went to see the wild man who lives underneath the bridge, 'cause I heard that he could free me from what the gypsy did. He was gone. Yeah, when I got there, he was gone. So I'm on my way to the only place I know for sure. By the river, by the river, that can help me escape through the water that runs cold. By the river, by the river, and it's gonna take me away, gonna take me away. I'll be gone. By the river, yeah, by the river, and it's gonna take me away to a far better place. I'm alone. By the river, by the river, yeah, by the river, by the river.
Two, 1.
Thank you.
What's up, everybody? We're here, episode 93 of the Young Lion podcast. I got the peoples with me in the building. We thank everybody who's in the chat already. Don't forget to share this video. And you are watching. Hold up. Ooh. Young Lion TV.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and stop fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding. Young lion.
That's right. We're live, episode 93. We're going to talk about some covert operations. But first, I want to thank everybody who already started chiming in the chat. We got, my mom said, what's up? Love you guys. Tiffany said, hey. My Aunt June chimed in, said, sounds so very great. I love you.
Hey,
Love
Aunt
you
June.
too.
Love you.
We love you, Aunt June. Yeah, everybody who's watching right now, please take a second and share this video. Please hit the like button, the thumbs up button, but hit that share button and just let the algorithm know that we're live. And yeah, today we got Moan with me.
What up?
With the Roman soccer shirt on.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're kind of like twins today, bro.
Yeah. I said I'm glad I'm not on your side right now.
Yeah, I know.
We
And
be
Jake-
twinning it.
Jake's rocking the superhero Marvel shirt. We were just talking about
Avengers. I just saw that, so
we were talking about Endgame and how
yeah.
we can get into a little bit of that where you were seeing with Endgame. I still haven't seen Infinity War or Endgame. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I would say, revelation in that movie.
Yeah.
It was really hitting me when I saw it again. I mean, it hit me the first time, but when I saw it again, there was a lot of stuff in there that I didn't recognize the first time. So it was cool.
Cool. And also we got John, and Rachel holding it down on the production over there. Hey guys.
Why you looking
Hello.
like
Hey.
that? You guys look really shiny on that TV right now.
Yeah, they not here.
Not
though.
the computer
Not
screen.
here.
Not on the
too.
computer. Oh yeah, they don't.
They look super white on the
I look like I got a little tint to me, but
James, what's up, James? James, man, we miss you over here.
Yeah.
Got an empty spot for you right here. Look, which side is it? Oh,
That
it's supposed
side.
to be right here. Yeah. Got an empty spot for you right here.
Why would it be on your
I
computer?
know, but it was the opening made it look weird.
it looks like you're not framed up right.
Sophia said, "That's Uncle Jamie,"
Because you keep moving.
and then he said, "And she's gone."
getting
Yeah, she went- back to let it go. Yo, his daughter's obsessed with Frozen, just like
Oh,
Richie was.
yeah?
Yeah. So he's getting the taste of what I got.
That's funny.
Yeah, man, we miss you, brother. James is working, boy.
Yeah. Got
Yeah.
a big job.
Copes is in the house.
What up, Copes?
He said, "Yerp,
What's up, Copes?
yerp."
Copes
up,
was
Copes?
doing a live stream when
Yeah.
when I picked John up, and
was
you know
funny.
he does it right in the spot there by the organ,
Uh-huh.
and so I was like, oh, I should mess with him and start messing with the lights while he was on live. So I started I turned them on and he just started like changing. First he didn't even notice that they came. I was watching the live stream and then he didn't notice, and then I was changing the colors and stuff.
Yo,
like
somebody was like rapping on there and he was changing it to the beat
Yeah.
in the background.
that. Which I know it's delayed, so it probably didn't work out. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was funny. But it looked good though. But yeah, he had like 300 people watching his live.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man.
What's up?
Yeah, man. So what were we talking about? But right before we went live, and I was like, hold up. Oh, you were talking about
I'm talking about how
you might go to Capitol Grill.
No, I was supposed to go to Capitol Grill last weekend because it was, our anniversary, and it fell on a Wednesday, so we didn't do anything.
Right. Happy anniversary, Juanita.
Happy anniversary. So what's that, 12? 11?
11.
Okay.
Married. 11
So
years married.
you and Jamie were like back to back?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The same year, right?
Yeah.
I got married first, and then
And then me.
you, and then
Stan.
Stan right after that.
Yeah, because I came home on leave. I came home on leave and they're all married. I was
Yeah.
like, wait, I didn't even meet Nita or Nina.
Yeah.
I was like, who are these people?
Shotgun weddings.
Yeah. And I officiated yours and Stan's weddings.
Yeah.
And then you officiated John's wedding.
Yeah, yes. Simone officiated my wedding.
Cope said, LOL, thanks for the lighting, bro. Anytime, man, anytime. I got to give him the link to control it himself. I think I can send everybody a link to just control it from their phone.
Oh, cool.
But back to what you were saying. So your anniversary.
we were supposed to go to Capitol Grill because I heard reviews from you guys, and I wanted to have a real dry aged steak because you guys made fun of me.
Because you never had. Wait.
No, I had a dry aged steak at some place in Morristown Mall, and it was like, and I told you guys how much it was. It was like $25, and then you and James was like, "That ain't no dry aged."
Where was that? The mall?
Yeah, one of those restaurants in
He
Morristown
went to some food court, dry aged food court thing. They got some Salisbury steak. Yeah.
But we found out that Capitol Grill wasn't.
What? Why does it sound like that?
I think
Yeah,
that's
it is-
because
it is.
there's
You
a lot
guys
of
have
mics.
your
There's a lot of
mics
mics open. This one's closed, but I think
I
both
don't know.
of their mics are open. So
What do you
it's-
hear?
we're getting a lot of room noise.
There we go.
There we go. It's
My mic is loud and picks up a lot of room.
I think
I
just-
think.
if you
Okay,
turn the
is it shotgun?
turn the gain down on yours a little bit, and it should be better. Yeah,
It sounds way better already.
yeah, that's better.
So, anyways, I didn't get a chance to go because they didn't do dining or something like that. So I was kind of pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I went there, I was cheap.
This is what we were talking about.
Yeah, I was cheap.
That's what.
So is it embarrassing? And anybody in the chat can chime in on this. Is it embarrassing to go to a fancy restaurant that's going to be expensive? Because like when I went there, the Kona steak or whatever, the Kona crusted dry aged steak, is that what you were going to get? Is that what y'all got?
I don't remember.
It's like $55 for the steak by itself, I
Yeah.
think.
and then everything's a la
Everything
carte.
is a la carte, so
Yeah.
like the sides and everything. So,
Yeah.
John's like, no.
we shared and it was still like, but I mean we got like lobster mac and cheese, like, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it was probably like 160,
yeah,
you know,
That's a lot.
yeah.
and we're cheap.
But that's my question. Like, like, are you afraid to go to a restaurant like that and then share?
I'm not. I did it.
We do that sometimes. Like if Nita really don't eat a lot, so
But I know some places frown upon that. Like we were just talking about, where you went to. Where did you go? Oh, we won't have to call
we
out.
don't-
The
Oh
restaurant.
yeah. They don't even exist anymore.
Well, this is probably why.
I'll just say it's a Cuban restaurant.
Yeah,
But it was like they were trying to be upscale, but it's basically Cuban.
it was regular Cuban
Yeah.
food. Yeah.
And
How upscale can you make Cuban food?
right.
yeah,
You know.
exactly. And
Besides our girl Ariella, they do a good job of it.
Yeah.
Shout out to
yeah,
her.
and it was
Mambo.
their stuff is way better than this place I went
Yeah.
to. The food was bad, but it was just like they were trying to charge you for every little thing.
Yeah.
So
So you was in there like, what was the movie where he was like, let me get a glass of water, some free sugar packets, and some free lemons.
It's funny because I went with Donnie and
She was like, you want lemonade? No, I want a free cup of water, some free sugar packets, and some free lemon wedges. But go ahead.
I went with Donnie. You know, I went with my high school buddies, Donnie and Josh, and their wives. So me and Leslie, like, she doesn't like Nita. She doesn't eat that much. So
Right.
we're just like, you want to share something? Because she's gonna take a couple bites, you know, and then she's done. So we're like, yeah, we're gonna get this, whatever it was, some kind of steak thing.
Yeah.
And and we're just talking. Yeah, we'll just share it. And she's like, "Oh, well, there's a $20 sharing fee."
Oh my god.
$20.
Like-
That's an entree.
20. So basically, we gonna force you to buy another entree.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't sharing nothing.
$20.
around these
I would have
sharks.
just sat there and not eat, and then just wait till I got home to eat my half.
I've
they-
never heard of that in
Do
my
they
life.
give you a bigger portion?
No.
And what if
the
it's-
same portion?
What if like so then if you gotta think about the next
So-
time you go there while everybody's ordering, one person goes to the bathroom and hides, and then you order the entree and
Yeah.
come back and sit down and share it without
Right.
them knowing.
So she said so I got the steak that we were gonna share, right?
Yeah.
And then she was like, okay, I'm gonna get another steak. So she asked the waiter, what's another steak that you can get? So he pointed out something, I forget what it was called, but it's in Spanish. And it wasn't steak, it was like the shredded beef.
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah.
So when Leslie gets it, she's like, oh, I didn't want this, I wanted steak.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh. And it's funny because I think they went out of business like maybe a couple months after that.
Wow.
But
They was struggling. That's
But
why they're
they're-
trying to charge everybody.
Yeah.
you could tell the waiter's like, oh man, here we go again. Like, and like scared, not
Because
like.
the manager probably told him nobody
Yeah.
gets to take nothing back.
So he's like, okay, well, you can get something else, but if you want to take it back, you're gonna have to pay for the meal and then take it back,
yeah.
and then you get another meal.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So she was like, all right, I'll just eat that. But yeah, they
Yo,
were
That's
just
why
That
they went
is-
out of business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo,
That's
you
why.
cannot do that in any kind of service industry. That
yeah.
does not
And it
work.
was his fault because he picked. He
right.
picked the
He's
steak.
the one that picked it out.
Yeah.
And she clearly asked for steak. Didn't you say you had a question you were going to ask about that? You forgot it, didn't you?
No, that's what I said. I said I'm not going to eat until I go home. I don't care.
Yeah, that is.
I've never heard that.
I've never
How
heard.
much were the plates? Like if a sharing fee is $20.
They were like between 25 and 30.
They're trying to charge you a plate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically
Might
what
as
they're
well.
doing. They're forcing you to buy another entree. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like I've been at restaurants, like me and Liz will go to them spots and we'll share something, and you get that look from the waiter, like, "Oh, y'all gonna share?" Like, you know what I mean?
But I
But-
think it's because they get less of a tip, maybe.
That's exactly what it is. I
Yeah.
think, in my experience, more so. Like, that look isn't coming so much from judgment for
Right.
you. Yeah. Oh, like, y'all
Y'all are being
gonna
cheap.
it's
Yeah.
not that. It's, instead of this bill being $175
Right.
and me being able to take 20% off of that, now y'all gonna spend $50. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they're
Yeah.
like, "Damn, I'm
Right.
coming low at the end of the night."
But see, we would never do that. Like, even if we do share something, we still tip way over.
That's
what we
awesome.
should be.
But
Yeah.
in their heads, they're like, "I'm
Yeah.
out $60.
Yeah,
Damn."
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we do. We always tip way more. So
Yeah.
it's
When I took her to the spot in Hard Rock for her birthday, we got one steak and then a bunch of sides, and then she got like this grilled octopus appetizer, but it wasn't an entree; it was an appetizer. So he was saying like, "Oh, that's all you want to eat? You don't want a meal for yourself?" Like, no, that's a lot of food. Like, we'll share all of that. And it ended up being like we took so much food home because it was a lot of food. And at first he was kind of like, "Oh, okay," you know what I mean?
yeah.
But we still tipped that dude like we got another steak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they messed up our, like, that's the other thing. When you go to a place that's that expensive, you expect like superior service, right? Every time I've been to like a fancy place, the service is like crazy. Like, they check on you, they make sure you're good, they explain everything
Yeah, the
to
service
you.
is good at it. Fancy restaurants.
Yeah, but this place was not like that.
James said only minorities will do that. Charge you a sharing fee.
Right? Yeah, let's go to where's that spot in Philly, James? Ibis or whatever, the Trinity restaurant. Like, yeah, we're gonna share everything. They were like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Yeah, but you expect superior service, so it's like I'm ordering stuff and they're forgetting it didn't come out, and one of the things we just never got. And so I told the dude, and he ended up taking it off the bill, and he was sorry, but it's like, come on, yo, this check is like
we
this
spending
check is
mad-
like damn near $200. Like,
Spending mad money.
yeah. Yeah. Tiffany says, oh, she asked what we think of her avatar.
I
I can barely see it. It just looks,
I can't see it
looks
at
like
all.
a child.
Emma said, "Greetings, guys. What's up, Emma?
What up, Em?
Missed you out there on Sunday, man. Emma's injured right now.
Yeah. Let's pray for Emma.
Yeah,
What injury does he have?
he hurt his hip somehow out there on the field. But yeah, let's get into a little bit of what we were going to talk about. So, first thing we can talk about is you were telling me about how you watched Endgame, a movie that I still haven't seen.
Yeah.
And I know
You
that
haven't
makes
seen that?
I know that makes me a weirdo. Yes, I haven't seen Infinity War or Endgame.
Do you have Disney?
They're long movies.
Well, thanks to James Garcia, I have access to Disney Plus.
Are you
Oh,
eyeing
you-
me
that
up
means
because
you
I
can
have
watch
it
The
and no one's?
Mandalorian.
Huh?
I said, is it? Are you eyeing me up because I have it and I didn't give it to nobody?
No, I see.
No.
That's your own judgment falling upon yourself. No, you already, bro. I got Netflix because of you, so
Yeah, that's true.
I don't pay for it. I have no subscriptions. John gave me Netflix. James gave me Disney Plus. So, yeah, but I haven't seen it yet. But I need to go watch it. I need to watch Mandalorian too. It's just like dedicating 3 hours of my life to a movie. So,
Yeah,
It's
they're
worth
long
it, though.
movies.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good. If
But-
it's for a purpose.
All right, so go into a little bit of what you were talking about.
Yeah, I think it's good for the time we're in. It speaks to like unity. That's one of the biggest things I saw in it. But so when
And facing the inevitable, you were telling me about.
yeah, that was one thing that after I saw it, then it was on TV,
Right.
and it was something I thought about, but I didn't really like think about that much. It was like I saw them say it, I'm like, wait, there's something there. But Thanos said at the end of the movie, I noticed he said, "I'm inevitable,"
Mm-hmm.
right? And inevitable means like something you can't
Avoid.
avoid,
Yeah.
unavoidable.
Right.
So that was one thing. But they were trying to avoid him. So
Right.
the point is, they lost like half of the civilization. The loss was crazy. People didn't know how to deal with it. It was so much, and they figured out how to go back in time. And that's kind of like the connection. I mean, I connect everything revelatory to God. So
Right.
for me, I'm seeing it like, oh wow, look at how God can redeem our time, and shift things, and turn things around. But we have to be in it with him, right? So it's funny how they went back in time, but Thanos found out what they were doing,
Right.
so he went back into the future with them, right, and just spoiled everything that they were trying to do. They brought everybody back, but now he's there to just destroy it.
Destroy
So
them again.
right. But in that, you saw how everybody came together.
Mhm.
All the superheroes, they all came together. Everybody fought. It was like, thousands of people fighting
Yeah.
for the country. It was just
For the world.
Yeah,
right?
all of Wakanda
for
was
the
there.
world, not for the
Yeah.
country.
Huh?
All of Wakanda was there.
Yeah.
Oh, all of Wakanda
All of
was there?
Wakanda.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wakanda.
Because that's where it was.
Oh,
The
okay.
battle.
No, that's
What was
that's
Oh no, they brought them all there.
yeah, that's Infinity Wars.
Yeah, no, they brought them.
They brought them there through those portals. But yeah, so it was like, I don't know. It's the feeling of unity you see when everybody's coming together, everybody's fighting for one cause, and I feel like that's what we need now,
Right.
in this country. We see how much division. What does division get us?
Yeah, just nothing. Just
Nothing.
hate. Just hate, and it actually increases the powers of the ones that are trying to oppress us.
Yeah.
It increases their reach and their authority
Yeah.
because we're so divided that we can't possibly avoid, what they're going to do. It's inevitable. you
Right.
know?
And that was the thing. So the first one, so Infinity Wars, Thanos gets all the stones, and he snaps his finger when he gets all the stones, and half of the population of the universe.
Of the universe.
The universe, not
Yeah.
just the world. The universe goes away,
Wow.
right? Disappears.
hmm Why not the whole population? He didn't
'cause
have
he
the
thought-
power.
No,
He's there to balance out like the world. So he's there to
yeah.
balance everything.
So it's about depopulation again.
Yep.
Depopulation.
Here we go.
But
He's
not
Bill
just
Gates.
depopulation.
He's Bill Gates. He's
It's the
Thanos.
animals and everything.
He feels like he knows the answers,
Mhm.
right, to how to make things right in the world.
He thinks he's a god.
Yeah,
Okay.
he basically thinks he's a god.
Yeah, he's willing to sacrifice everything, even the things that he loved, even relationship with his daughter. Or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quick shout out to Warnita. Said, "Hey everyone."
What's up, Juanita?
And Saker said, "Brothers, how are you tonight? We are good.
What's up, Saker?
What up?
How are
What up?
you? Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you guys share the video."
So after this has happened, at the beginning of Avengers Endgame, they go to find Thanos in the planet that he's on,
Mm-hmm.
and he's there. His arms shriveled up because the arm he snapped with got shriveled, and he's
Right.
like messed up
Because of the power of the gauntlet
yeah,
that he was wearing.
because of all the stones.
Okay. So it even tore him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when they came, he basically was powerless, but he said, "I'm inevitable."
Mm.
That's what I saw the second, like when I saw it on TV. I'm like, oh, he did say it the first time. So he says it twice. He says it at the end, at the beginning and at the end.
Mm.
And it's to show like you're gonna have to face things,
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people try to avoid the inevitable.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're going through right now. Even like you gotta face the issues, and even to what's going on in this country right now with people who thought. I think people voted for Biden because they thought that it was going to go back to some kind of semblance of normal that they thought they could have, which
Right.
ain't gonna happen.
Right.
And especially the Christians have voted for Biden.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's total complete opposite to what God, their morals, what the morals and values should be.
Right.
And now you're starting to see that. You're starting to see how they're coming after people.
Right.
Already.
The policies. And that's why the title was Covert Operations, because it's something that you were hearing a lot.
Yeah.
And also it's the way they're moving now is almost like this was all being set up to be done this way. The way the election went, the way they're like framing anyone who voted for Trump as a terrorist now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or think about after the Patriot Act, when they implemented after 9/11, when they implemented the Patriot Act, it was almost like any suspicion of terrorism makes it okay for them to search your property or just even take you in, question you, detain you. And now when you can just claim anyone as a terrorist, or connected to terrorism in any way, it kind of opens up the door for another action to happen or some type of bill or legislation. And half the people in the country would feel like, yeah, I want this because of the way it's being framed and the way they're being sold, that like, yeah, these people are evil, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And same thing with the other side.
Yeah, Patriot Act, it opened up the door for them to take away rights and what did we put up as a cost? It was our freedom. Why did we do it? Because we were scared.
Right.
Because we didn't want to face something
Right.
that we thought somebody could face for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the key. And even with Trump in office, like I think a lot of people thought that Trump was going to take care of all our problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All our issues, and that's not the case. It's the people that need to do it. This country is
Right.
It's for the people, by the people. Well, of the people, by the people, for the people. And if we don't take responsibility, then we're gonna face the inevitable.
Right.
And because we haven't, we gotta face it. It doesn't mean that we can't come out on top. And I think because we haven't, like, if you want to give up your rights to government and you want government to do everything for you, well, then here you go. And I think that's what's starting to happen now.
Yeah, and I think if you want to live a life that is full of, if you're not willing to sacrifice all of the comforts and all of the systems that are built up so that you can watch your Netflix and your Disney Plus and go on your vacation every year, and the things that we just expect now.
Yeah.
If there's nothing in you that wants to give that up, then you're gonna give up your freedoms to the government because you want to stay comfortable like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not to say that you can't have those things, but you got to fight for those things.
Right.
They're not just going to, it's not something that you just should have.
Right.
You know, it's not
It's not
something
owed to you.
It's not owed to you.
Yeah.
And
They act like it though.
Yeah.
and Thanos is coming for it.
Yeah, they act like it. And that's the problem. And I think it's because what do spoiled kids act like? They don't appreciate what they have. And
Yeah.
we've been in
We're so entitled. It
Go
just
ahead.
reminded me of who was the comedian that was talking about free Wi-Fi on the plane, and then
Louis C.K. Yeah.
Wi-Fi went out, and then you're just complaining.
Yeah.
You're like you're flying from one end
Yeah.
of the country to the to the
It's
next.
such a great joke because it lays out the whole mindset of like what we do and how fast we become entitled.
Yeah.
Because he's basically saying like they announced on the plane that this was like one of the first planes to be equipped with Wi-Fi. And like everyone's gonna have access to this Wi-Fi, so people start logging into the Wi-Fi. They're all happy about it. And then he said, 30 minutes into the flight, the Wi-Fi goes down, and the guy next to him is like, "This is bullshit." You know what I mean? It's like
It's ridiculous.
It's like how he's like, you're already entitled to something that you didn't even know existed 30 minutes ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and we don't recognize like we look at our forefathers, you know, a generation ago, 2 generations, 3 generations ago, whatever. And if we just look at them and think that, you know, just look at all the bad, we don't realize what they've overcome, what they've gone through. I was thinking about like the people who traveled over here in ships,
yeah,
took months
yeah.
and battle, and now we can just fly over in a
But
few
that
hours.
plays into that same
You know,
story.
yeah,
because
that's what made me
in
think
that
about
joke,
it.
he's like, dude, you are sitting in a chair in the sky. Like,
Yeah.
shut up. Like,
Yeah.
the fact that you can even do this is a miracle. Like,
People used to die
yeah.
traveling.
Yeah.
And
Like he said the family would leave and try to take this trip, and half the family was dead when they got there.
yeah,
Like,
right. That's what happened. Like literally, the Pilgrims, they lost more than half.
yeah.
You know, when they came.
And even when they came, they were starving, sick, like they were messed up.
So I think we have to like. That's what I think. We get so we idolize these things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We get, and then we think that we deserve them. Then we look to it.
Right.
But we don't realize that where'd they come from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even like the medical, all these industries, like the fact that they're the way they are. Why did it accelerate so much in Western civilization?
Yeah.
It might be connected to Jesus.
Right.
It might be connected to there was
Right.
a whole different standard
Right.
with those biblical. Even if we didn't follow them to, you know what I mean, there was a whole different standard there.
Yeah. Even
You
the
know.
founding of this country, like people always point out that, like, you know, but it wasn't right for everyone. Everyone didn't have,
Yeah.
but it may not have been reaching its potential, but the idea of it,
Idea was it was the
it
first
was revolutionary.
in the world to do what it did.
Right.
You know, and that's what, and we can like look at something and, we got iPhones, and not look to the past and understand what they did.
Yeah.
And how they had to go past what they thought of, like to go across that water to, you know, all these
Yeah.
things when the world's flat, or, you know, all these ideas we have in our head, facing their fears, conquering. And that's what people they're giving it up, you know. Oh, we want a king over us. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, the whole point of this country was the fight against a king to give power back to the people. But it's like now the collective wants to give power back to the king.
Yeah.
We just want a king to do it for us. Well, every time that happens, and it says in the, okay, you want a king over you, you're gonna have to deal with some
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you want to be ruled over.
And that's not what this country is for. So I think
Yep.
Real quick, just a couple comments. Saker said, framing That's true. And the sad part is that most of the people just live that lie and believe it. It's sad what is the whole world is facing at the moment, time, and is going to face. It is sad, but I think, like Jake was saying, like if we're unified and if we can establish within ourselves that we need to be on firm foundation with God, then we see how the culture changes in our lives and in our families' lives. Like when I think about y'all and everyone that's in our circle and the culture of what that is, it's so different. That's why we're not like we're not ever in despair about these things. Like we always have a different
and it's something
view of
we've
it.
cultivated
Exactly
with God. You know?
Right. Another comment. What's happening in the country is scary and dangerous for black and brown people. I am just happy I'm in a very quiet town, Palm Coast, where most people are retired. Although Palm Coast is a red city, people are very friendly and helpful. And please be careful and always travel with someone. I mean, that's a lot of fear you're talking there. I don't, like that. I think like we get pulled into that, like red and blue and Democrat and Republican all the time, and it's like the Republicans are the enemy. No, the Democrats are the enemy. It's like that's the tactic right there.
Yep.
That's the strategy of the enemy to keep people divided because you see someone and don't agree with their ideology, so they must be evil. You know what I mean? They must be out to get me. Black and brown people are it's dangerous times for them. It's like, yo, growing up when we grew up and knowing the cities that, you know, it's always been dangerous for everyone.
Yeah,
Like,
in the city, I couldn't walk through, you know,
yeah,
a certain
like what
part
are we
of town.
Why are we living in this lie that like it's so dangerous now for black and brown people?
It's funny how people are afraid to uphold the law.
Yeah.
And that's something that I noticed, like when you had these overblown riots that happened in DC.
Yeah.
And when Trump he you know, he was like there always has to be a measure of law. You can't go against the law.
Right.
You know, the rule of law. And that's the key, because then there's lawlessness.
Right.
Like that, there's lawlessness.
Yeah.
And lawlessness doesn't mean that you're doing something. It can mean you're not doing anything.
Right.
And I don't think people understand that. Like, if you allow it to happen and you don't take up the law, it's lawlessness too.
Right. I
And
mean,
if you're
you
afraid,
see it happen in real time with like those Capitol riots and things like that. It's always like there's a bunch of people that are there, and even with all the BLM protests everywhere they were, like there's people are there for a real grievance that they feel like that they have.
yeah.
But then as soon as that lawlessness is sparked by someone, where the first window is broken or something like that, it just spirals.
Yep.
Because like you said, it's that lawlessness. Once it grabs hold, there's no shutting it off.
Yeah.
You know?
Where does a mob? It's easy. That's why.
Right.
That's why.
That's one of the tactics.
That's a tactic on both sides.
Yeah.
'Cause they
Send
both
someone
do it.
in to start that.
Somebody
To demonize the protest.
The dude that the one dude that was on Anderson Cooper show.
Yeah.
He was on there.
Oh yeah. What was his name? Justin something. Just the black dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he got convicted for inciting violence
Right.
because he got caught, you know, before he went on to the show,
Right.
you know, saying that I was there and I was
But he was there with a Trump hat on, you know, pretending to
be
in with them, you know.
yeah, and saying, yeah, go
Yeah,
get him.
right,
So
right.
FBI got him.
Yeah.
But it's that easy though. If you're in you it's like people, they're emotional.
But it's funny because look at how people like that, and it's on both sides.
Yeah,
because people are like on the right side. See, man, you don't understand what's happening. You need to wake up, right? And then people you need to get woke on the other side. Like, but the funny part is, like, when you look at what God, there's a verse in Jeremiah where God says to Jeremiah, when he's just becoming a prophet, right? And he says to him, I'm going to anoint you to tear down and destroy, to uproot and destroy, but also to plant and to build.
Right.
Right. And so what is he? He's destroying what needs to be destroyed and building what needs to be built through the word of his mouth. And then he says to him, what do you see? God says to Jeremiah, what do you see? And Jeremiah says, I see an almond branch. And if anybody, like, if you know what that means, if you just say, okay, and he says, you've seen well, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And he says, you've seen well, I watch over my word to perform it. That word for watch is actually wake. I stay awake over my word to perform it.
Right.
And the almond tree represents the waker tree.
Mm-hmm.
It represents actually even the menorah. But even in nature, the almond tree is the first tree in winter to wake up and bud before the other trees wake up.
That's
so
that higher love cover.
That's that higher love cover. So to be woke is actually to be awakened by God. And he awakens us to the word that he wants to perform over. He's always awake. He's always watching over his word. So to be awake is to watch. And then you have Jesus. You have Jesus who, and this goes back to Thanos, because Jesus was like going to be betrayed. He didn't want to go through what he had to go through, right?
Right.
But he knew he had to go through it. He said, if there's any other way, take this cup from me. But what does he say to the disciples when he's in that place of like Gethsemane, where the waker trees were and the olive trees, right, on the Mount of Gethsemane, which means to be pressed, you know. So when we're at our most pressurous point, we have to deal with this stuff. That's the inevitable part, right?
Right.
And but the disciples, they're oblivious. They're oblivious in the point. Like, he's stressing because he knows what he's got to go through, right? He knows the inevitable, and he tells them, watch and pray. They fall asleep. He tells them again, watch and pray. That word to watch and pray means to stay awake and pray. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he wants them to stay awake and pray. And why? So that you don't fall into lawlessness. So that you don't fall into temptation. It's temptation to want to fight against the injustice yourself. That's lawlessness. Right. But that you uphold the law. Right. But they didn't. And they fell asleep 3 times, and he came back like, all right, come on.
Yeah.
You know, now we got to deal with the betrayer. I'm telling you, but you don't understand what I'm telling you.
Right.
And now when Peter sees that Jesus is betrayed, now he's mad. Now he takes up that sword, cuts off the soldier's ear, right? Jesus heals it, and he says to him something profound. He says, what are you doing? It has to be fulfilled. Everything that the prophet spoke, that's the word. He's saying, I'm watching over my word to perform it. Right. I'm staying awake. You fell asleep. Now you're doing something that you think is good, but it's actually not good. Right. You're actually against God instead of for God. Right. And see how easily we can be against God thinking we're for God. And that's what's happening a lot in this world. You see injustices, but you don't know how to deal with it. Right. And recognizing, like, Jesus didn't fight against it. He took it on. And he went silently to deal with it, to go through it. Now, am I saying that we need to go to a cross and die like it? No. But we're going to have our own type of cross that we have to deal with. We're going to face our own Thanoses, deal with the inevitable and go through that. But we're going to have victory. And I think at this time, it's about unity with people and not just like pointing fingers and picking everybody apart. Right. That's what Thanos wants.
That's what the devil wants.
Exactly. That's what Thanos is, the devil, if y'all don't understand what I'm saying.
Real quick, Todd said Jeremiah was known as the weeping prophet. Emma said, this program is really knowledgeable. Thanks, buddy. Barbara Davenport said, glad you're back, Moon.
Thanks.
He was back last week too, but you must have missed it. Not gonna say nothing, no.
Even though he did say something.
Saker said, this is an changing point of our life and humanity in general, and you guys know it and I know it. which is the tech world, is ready to launch the technology, which is in a minute will replace us and do most of our jobs. We have to fight for our existence and freedom and peace. And that's, I think, like what he's speaking to there is one of them things that you're talking about, where it's like, that's one of the inevitable things.
Yeah.
Where it's like this system is built up in a way where if these giant corporations that are trying to cut costs and increase profits, they have to do it every quarter. Like by nature, they have to, right? There's no way you're going to stop them from implementing robotics in any way or automation in any way they can and stop paying people. It's inevitable.
Yeah, it's happened in history. Like, just the way technology progress.
Right.
You know.
But if your whole faith is built into that system and the way it works, then you become a slave to that.
And when it comes down, you are lost.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You
are, destroyed.
Interesting thing. I was watching Tim Pool's podcast the other day, and he was talking to somebody, and he was like, "Yeah, we were both born in the early '80s." He was pointing out how like the people that were from that era, which is us, are like one of the most unique spaces to grow up in.
Yeah, we're in the in-between space.
It's the in-between.
Yeah.
It's like in that gap.
Yeah.
Because we watched technology become what it is now.
Right.
We were there.
We were
as it
kids
happened.
for the first video games. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Watching the documentary of how video games progressed. We were there through
the
all
internet.
That.
Like,
Yeah,
all
the
these
internet.
things.
Cell phones.
Like we know what it's like to grow up and play outside every day, and your parents don't know where the heck you're at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
you walk to your friend's house.
Yeah.
You don't text
And
them anything.
and
If
hope they're
not
home.
If they're not home, you just walk back.
You just go back home. Like we grew up in a time where, like, think about that. Just even the idea of having we all know that feeling the first time you made a cell phone call, and it was like, I'm calling someone and I'm not at home. It's weird, right?
Yeah.
But think
like
about
out of body.
the generations now. Like that's just like, what are you
That's all
talking
they
about?
know.
Like
Yeah.
you have a cell phone that can't access the internet and make music and make beats and do live videos. Like that's all they know.
Yeah. And we grew up. We like when we got older, we worked for cell phones. We saw
first pagers, right?
We saw, we saw how it went from pagers to
cell phones.
to cell phones.
We watched Nokia take power, and then Samsung,
Two-way.
and then Apple. Yeah, two-way pagers. What was the Motorola? Motorola had the two-way pagers, and then remember the Sidekick.
Yo, the Sidekick was. I had one of your sidekicks.
John used to get all of our old phones when we were done with them. He would just get them for free. But just thinking about that, like it puts us in a weird, like almost how it does with us racially, like how we're all like we grew up in a different way, coming in an in between space. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's harder for us to just divide and be like, no, it's these people are right and these people are wrong. It's the same thing because of the era that we grew up in. We kind of see the flaws of the past, but also where we're headed. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we see what's good about that and what's good about the past as well, like things that we need to get back to. So it's just interesting when you think about that. Like, not many generations can say that. Like,
Yeah. And I think some people just want to be right about stuff. Like, no, this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen.
Yeah.
See, I told you it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be right. I don't want to be right. I want to do what's right.
yeah,
And
you want to be righteous,
I want to be righteous. There you go. And I can't be righteous trying to be righteous.
all right?
I gotta be led by the righteous one. Jesus. So that's where we're at. Like, I can't love unless he shows me how to love.
Right.
That's why it says the foundation of his throne. Righteousness. You got to walk in righteousness first.
Right.
Then you come to justice, right?
Dude, I just got an epiphany on like the whole problem, the spiraling of where the media is right now and how it's like so unreliable. It's at an all-time low for like trust. People don't trust the media. But the problem is they have to be right. All of their credibility lies in them giving you the news that's right. So they will fabricate an entire scenario and frame everything in a way that just ends up saying like, yeah, we were right. You know what I mean? So if you're banking on being, if you always want to be right and not worried about being righteous, you can that opens up the door to lie, cheat, steal, do whatever just to prove that you were right. You know what I mean? And that's what you're seeing. That's the difference.
Yeah. And that showed like Jesus came from the line of David. David was a servant king. And I think that's what, and even in terms of Jesus, he was a priest and a king. You know, he is, not was. He is a priest and a king. And it's about serving. So when we're like, you even look at this country, and I was watching something, Clear and Present Danger. It's a pretty good movie if y'all want to watch it. It's from the 90s with Harrison Ford. And I was saying like how James Earl Jones always has like these pivotal roles.
And when you said that, I never thought of that before, but it's true.
Yeah.
He always has like these very deep, pivotal, iconic roles that have like these life lessons involved. Yeah.
And so he was the national security advisor, like, but he got cancer. So then the other character who is Harrison Ford's character, who's Jack Ryan, he becomes the what do you call it? Like the standing. He takes his place, but only because
interim.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
the Jack Ryan series that people watch now with John Krasinski is based off of those Tom Clancy
books, and then some of them became movies. So, like out of the whole movie, like that was the part I watched it for, where he's sitting there and he's about to die, like James Earl Jones' character, and Harrison Ford, he's starting to find out all this information, right? But it's like it goes all the way up to the president. Like he's finding all this stuff, and he's like, so he tells James Earl Jones, he says, I'm afraid that if I dig any deeper, people aren't going to like what I find. Right. So James Earl Jones says, you took an oath. Right. And then he says, you took an oath and not to, he said, when you came to work for me, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for the national security advisor. He said it was for his boss. And I'm not talking about the president of the United States. And he said it was for his boss. And you took an oath. You took, your word was for the people. Your word was to serve the people.
Right.
And that's what this country is about. And then he said, your word is who you are. And that's powerful.
Right.
And going back to what I said earlier with Jeremiah, and God, he waits over or keeps a watch over his word or stays awake over his word. There's the other, we have to connect with him in what he's saying. We're learning how to become who he is. We're learning, he's the word, right? So we're learning how to become that word. And that's the integrity that James Earl Jones was speaking about to him. You got to uphold this integrity.
Right.
That's what the government is based off of. Anything else is lawlessness.
Yeah.
Any little bit of compromise. If you think, well, I don't want, it's the president and I don't want, see, it's compromise.
Yeah.
That's not, you're not upholding the law because it's not about the president. It's about upholding the law for the people. Because you want to give, that's a true servant. A true servant wants to give what is righteous. They got to walk in righteousness, and then you can serve justice. If you don't walk in righteousness, you can't serve justice. And too many people are looking at themselves instead of looking at what it's for. It's for people. We're supposed to love. That's why Jesus said the two main commandments: love God with all your heart, strength, mind. Love your neighbors as you love yourself. Right? That's what. To me, that's what Avengers is about. It's about loving people. It's about seeing everybody who they recognize that they got to love people because they lost all these people that they loved.
Right.
And they took it for granted, just like we're taking for granted all the people we have and what we have in this country right now.
Right.
You know, a lot of people are taking it for granted because they're looking at in fear, trying to hold on to the little bit that they got. But it's funny because Jesus said, like, you try to hold on to the little bit that you got, even what you have is going to be taken away.
Right.
You know,
I think it's, again, people want to be proved right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even if that means I have to prove that you're wrong or use you as the target to prove that I'm right, you know what I mean? Like, that's what you see both sides doing right now.
Yeah. And they do it. And see, the whole point of like the Tom Clancy thing, they can only do it if it's kept covert. They can only do it when they're
right.
But once it comes to the light, they're exposed.
Yeah.
Right. So when you uphold the law, things get exposed. You're going to have to suffer for it.
Right.
You're going to have to suffer. But you're learning how to uphold what is righteous. So you're watching over his word. God speaks a word for us to uphold it. Right? We're learning. It's funny because we're learning how to keep his law. The whole law depends on loving God with all your, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
all the law falls
right.
on that. Love God with all your heart, strength, mind. Love your neighbor as you love. That's all. That's the whole law. Jesus said it. So when we do that and we learn how to keep that word, how to stay awake over it, how to watch over that word, that's a
Right.
responsibility. We don't fall asleep at the wheel, right?
Right.
We don't fall asleep and, oh yeah, it's not a big deal. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not looking. You know what I
Right.
mean? Just because it's not that big. You know, that's why like any little bit of a lie, like it's compromise. You're compromising the integrity of what's being built.
Yeah.
That's why it's got to be destroyed because you're building something else. You start to build something
You build
else.
something, you start cutting corners.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. And then it before you know it, it could all come down. Any of y'all thinking of all the James Earl Jones movies?
Field of Dreams is one of them.
Field of Dreams,
You mentioned Sandlot.
Sandlot.
That was a good one.
Yeah, ever
There's
seen
another
that?
one I just
Yeah, I saw
saw the other
Sandlot.
day. Oh, Lion King.
Lion King.
Of course,
yeah.
Lion King.
Of course, he's Mufasa.
Of course, Star Wars.
Star Wars.
I was gonna say, are we counting Star Wars?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
If we count Mufasa.
Right. Darth Vader had some iconic stuff. James Earl Jones didn't want to do that, though.
He didn't want to do it. Though.
Yeah. No, he
But,
didn't.
hey,
Yeah.
he's still doing it.
The, the guy who Steve tells the story all the time about how he was upset when he didn't know that James Earl Jones' voice is gonna be on. So he learned the line as he's acting it out, and he watches the movie, and that's not my voice.
Right.
But it's funny because it's like no one could tell because you got a mask on, bro.
Yeah.
Like, why are you worried about? Oh, because I guess he figured I did this whole movie in a mask. No one knows it's me. At least they'll hear my voice.
Right, right. They don't even. He doesn't even get that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
Jean-Claude Van Damme was supposed to be the Predator.
Uh-huh.
Was he?
Yeah, he was originally supposed to be Predator. And then I think he like booked Kickboxer in the middle of it.
So Van Damme and Schwarzenegger was gonna be
They were going to fight each other. Yeah. You good over there?
Got Charlie Horse.
I was gonna mention something as you guys are talking about. I didn't want to cut Jake off. Oh, this like the culture that they're creating about like how it's okay to tell on people and shame people. Did you hear about the kid who told on his dad and got his dad arrested?
Yep.
And then it's like they're incentivizing.
They're incentivizing it, yeah.
He started like a GoFundMe, and
Yep.
now he's getting all this money.
Yeah, he raised almost $100,000 on GoFundMe
Yeah, it's
after he turned. And it's like he goes on. They bring him on CNN because
right.
you know
News.
it's the news that wants to show like they want to create that narrative that like this is what you have to do. Like this is honoring your country.
Yeah.
You know, if
Yeah.
you know your parents were at this Capitol, you have to tell on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he goes on Twitter and says like, yeah, you know, this was me. I didn't want to do it, but here's my GoFundMe. You know what I mean? And
Give me some money.
yeah, raises $100,000. It's pretty crazy, man. Like you're seeing like this whole movement now to, like you said, they're introducing new spells, new words. What's the new word you mentioned?
Oh, naturalists.
Naturalists. Yeah.
I keep on hearing it. I think didn't they put it in like a bill or something like that they just
something like that. But every time they start doing that, they did it with, you know, social distancing. They did it with the curve, slowing the curve, whatever it is, like
stop.
You know what I mean.
I think that's what it is. Slowing the curve.
Yeah. But that's what they do. They introduce these new spells and just keep repeating it over and over again. And before you know, it becomes a part of you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It becomes like literally, it roots in your heart, and then it just becomes a part of your everyday life. Yeah. Where now
it's got to be uprooted.
Yeah.
But naturalists, like what exactly do they mean by that? They make it seem like it's like a Nazi or something like that. If you put your
naturalist or a nationalist?
Nationalist. That's what it is.
Yeah. He says naturalist. I'm like, what would they call it?
Nationalist.
Yeah, nationalist.
Yeah, that's the new term.
Oh, they've been saying nationalist forever.
That's
not a new term. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're saying it more
now. But
I've been hearing it more.
Yeah,
because they're trying to equate that to Trump supporters.
Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be like white supremacy, nationalism, Nazis. They're all lumped in together. Yeah. You know, just like you were saying, the Proud Boys got named a terrorist group in Canada. You know, I even saw something where, that group, the Boogaloo Boys, that are aligned with Antifa. They walk around with vests and guns, but they also have like rainbow flags and BLM shirts on and stuff like that. So they were interviewing one of the guys, and he was saying like, yeah, we're about gay rights, we're about Black Lives Matter, we're about like we don't mess with the Proud Boys, we don't like none of that. Like we hate Trump, you know. But then it's still they can't let that ideology out there, so they're still framing them as white supremacists. You know what I mean? Because it's like,
yeah, and if you say something enough, it just it fits in a box. See, it's all about, again, it goes back to the inevitable, because people keep on staying blind, staying asleep, because they don't want to see what's really happening, and they frame it for them.
Right.
Oh, okay. Go back to sleep.
Go back to sleep.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Go back to sleep.
It's the opposite.
It's
of,
this, and this.
It's the opposite of stay awake and watch.
Yeah.
No. Go back to sleep.
Yeah,
we got you.
Go back to sleep.
Keep resting. We got you. Meanwhile, they're like, stealing everything from you.
And they're just stealing, taking over.
Yeah.
And by the time you know it, what you feared and what you had, that feeling that you had deep down inside of you.
Yeah.
But you're like, oh wait, they're saying it's good. Oh wait, that thing. It came upon you, and you're not prepared for it.
Right.
You know,
just like how people are mad now. They voted for Biden, and he cut all these jobs, and they're upset now.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that
Trudeau is pissed
complaining.
Because was it how many jobs in Canada?
70,000
with the pipeline
jobs because of the Keystone Pipeline. You know, and a lot of people in Pennsylvania are mad about that. You know, a lot of people in these oil towns in New Mexico, Arizona, like stuff like that, they're scared. You know, but you know, this is why we need to come together. This is why we need to join up. You know, it's funny. Bezos is against his workers unionizing.
Oh yeah.
So he's doing this. You have to vote in person. Mail-in voting can't be trusted. You know what I mean?
now it can't be trusted.
Now all of a sudden mail-in voting can't be trusted. Yeah, I saw an article about that. But it's just funny. It's just funny when you see like
it's funny, but it's not funny.
It's not funny, but I'm saying like it's once it stops working on you, you start seeing all of the tactics that are being used.
Yeah. Todd said Nothing takes God by surprise. Absolutely. And so what we're saying is like any covert operation, God can he has the absolute plan that destroys all that.
Right.
But it's just us connecting with him and staying awake to perform the word that he wants to perform. Our performance is in walking with him, being led by him, being joined with him, not to be separated by him. It's funny how even like, I was talking about this with even, especially in like Christendom, like you can't do nothing and just be, oh, no, don't give me that God, glory to God. And it's like, obviously, like, no, it's about, you have to uphold that. And there's this false humility that comes in where you want to separate yourself from God, but no, you and God, you are becoming one with him, and to me, it's almost like people feel like a blasphemy when they hear something like that. But Jesus said it. Yeah. You and me, I'm one with him, you're one with me.
Yeah.
This is the prayer he even had with the Father. Like, the point is, everything that we need, it's inside of us because he dwells in us. The hope of glory.
Right.
Christ, the hope of glory that dwells in us. The hope of the glory. And it doesn't come out until we start to agree. It's literally like, do we understand what covenant means?
I don't think
you know what I mean. Like, covenant. What does covenant mean? Like,
it's an agreement.
It's an agreement.
Yeah.
It's a marriage. It's a oneness.
Right.
The more we start to disagree, even like, and that's the thing. People will always try to like point fingers. That's where the devil creeps in. He doesn't come in all crazy. He comes in little like, yeah, you shouldn't be really trying to say that God's doing something through you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't really be trying to connect yourself with God. Yeah, I need to humble myself. No, that's a fake humble. But people are genuine, so it's not like, I'm not saying they're being fake. I'm saying they don't know the meaning of true humility.
Right.
And that comes through him. And what he said, what Todd said, nothing takes God by surprise. And it's funny how true humility is the fear of the Lord. Right. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of all wisdom, and wisdom is the thing we need. It's the counsel of Lord. There's a interesting thing that a friend of mine gave me. It's a scripture, and it speaks about like the secret counsel. Yeah. But it's also about friendship, like and true what true friendship is, because that's why like I know you know this, Jamie, but that's why God called Abraham a friend, his friend, right? Because he joined with him, right? That's why Abraham was buried at Hebron, and also Isaac and also Jacob, because those were the ones who joined with him. They were people he called his friend, and Hebron means to join together. It means also the covenant of friendship, right? So, like, all this stuff is key to what God is trying to show us, I think, right now in this time. And can you pull up Psalms 25?
Yep.
Matter of fact, I got it right here. Psalms 25. This is Psalms 25:14. It says, "The friendship or the secret counsel of the Lord is for those who fear him, and he makes known to them his covenant." See how powerful that he makes known to him.
Say that again.
The friendship or the secret counsel of the Lord is for those who fear him, and he makes known to them his covenant. My eyes are ever towards the Lord. See, that's the watching. My eyes are ever towards the Lord. For he will pluck my feet out of the net. And the net is the place where we just got overcome by the covert operation of the enemy, the enemy intelligence, that operation we couldn't see. But there's always a way out of it, and he's that way. He has the greater intelligence or mind that is gonna help us to over that central,
the true central intelligence, right?
Yeah, the true or the top secret.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
And and what are we learning? We're learning like, oh, every time I get into a situation, I know he's my help, you know, and I go to him, I'm joining myself to him. That's the covenant I have with him, you know, and I'm learning that covenant more and more. And the more I learn it, the more I'm not separated. The more I learn it, the more there is no separation between me and him. The more I learn it, the more I'm shining with his glory, you know what I mean? And we are one, and there's no telling the difference between us. And that's scary for people. People don't want, you're trying to put yourself up like God. Of course not.
Right.
But there is a oneness that he's trying to get us to.
Yeah.
You know? It's crazy but religion wants to keep us separated.
Yeah.
That's that false humble.
I want to get everybody's opinion on something I just saw on Twitter. I heard them talking about.
I was just about to ask you.
I heard them talking about like how we should start double masking because of the effectiveness of it. Like we should really start double masking. So this thing is showing the efficiency of a double mask, but now the triple mask. Now that's when you're really getting. But I feel like by that point, you just can't breathe.
You can't breathe.
So, like, yeah, nothing's getting in, but nothing's going out either.
You need the double mask. You need.
So are they going to try to check for it?
You need to put a glass shield on.
Yeah,
they're going to try to check for these triple masks.
I don't know, man. Like, what are they trying to do? But they're just continuing to move the goalposts and continue to. Keep people in fear, you know. Yep. That's what I see.
Yeah, what do you see?
Huh?
No, I just said, what do you see?
Bubble boy.
No.
What'd you say?
I'm going back to Jeremiah.
Yeah.
You ever seen that Bubble Boy on MTV?
No, what is that?
He lives in a bubble because his mom said he has some disease and he'll die if he interacts with people.
Oh.
Mom said he's the shade on our right hand, and Todd said we should double or triple slap them for coming up with that nonsense. Yeah, I mean they're gonna keep. It's just gonna keep coming. Like this is what it is. Like again, another spell that we've been hearing over the last 10 months. New normal. You know what I mean? It's like. They just keep throwing those ideas at you so that people would just be like, all right, this is what it is now. You know?
But it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
None of it makes sense.
There is a new normal, but it's not, of course, it's not that normal. But what is the new normal?
Right.
You know, because it's like we're dealing with this stuff. How do we combat it? We can't just sit back and just let it happen.
Right.
You know, but how do we combat it?
Right. And we can't really slap them because then you just go to jail.
Yeah. But it's funny.
Like someone posted, I'm just gonna show some memes and get reactions. Someone posted this on Twitter: Beyond Beef Burger ingredients. Look at all those ingredients.
Wow.
Beef burger ingredients.
Beef.
The funny part is, it's like you're trying to make something
taste like beef.
Taste
like you're against
what you're against.
Yeah, you're against. Because I know that they think that it's just people eat meat just because of the texture and the mouthfeel of it. Yeah. Like that's what they're under that impression that people are just addicted to meat but I think it's honestly like something that your body craves, like the fats and the proteins that are in it. Like it's something that there's nothing that satiates you like eating a freaking steak.
Well, I can't eat Beyond anyway. I get allergic reaction every time.
Because you're allergic to soy, right?
Yeah, certain type of soy.
Yeah.
Speaking of memes, yo, how ridiculous have those birdie memes gotten?
Oh yeah. Everybody, and it's like. I don't. The thing that's so hard. The thing that's so hard for me about social media is that I hate being a follower, man. And it's like that's what it's all about. It's doing what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
That's what TikTok is. That's what Instagram is becoming. Meme culture. It's like just doing. Oh, this is the new meme. Like
you Maverick.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm about being a maverick. I'm not about being
Top
a
Gun.
follower.
We talking
man.
about all movies tonight.
Yeah. Top Gun is another classic. See, but that's the era, right? We
Yeah,
talk about
yeah.
movies.
There were
from,
some good movies in that
I
era.
don't even remember Top Gun. like
I've
that.
seen all the areas Top Gun was filmed.
yeah, that's
Lived
true.
it.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah, it's yo. The '80s had some like there was some spell movies, but there was some like real good movies. They had like a lot of logos, for lack of a better term, in them. You know what I mean? Nowadays, it's like you see all the movies that win all the awards. It's always some weird, dark
Creepy and
nothingness,
dark, right?
like that just leaves you feeling like dirty after watching. You know,
Yeah.
like
Defeated.
what's the one where she's sleeping with the fish?
Oh, and
Damn.
that water one.
Yeah, something water.
I don't remember
Yeah.
what. I don't even remember. I went to
Amber
go see.
wanted me to go see
I went
it.
to
and
go
was
see
like,
it,
Nope.
and it was
All the movies, man. It's like every time you see, oh, this one is nominated for all the Oscars, and then you go watch and it's like, hell,
Yeah.
like, what is this?
Especially today, like it was funny. I think the Oscars were on around. Like, did they come on recently, or are they about to come on?
I have no idea,
But-
dude.
We heard something. And me and Leslie were like, "Wow, see how nobody cares about the Oscars now? Like,
Yeah.
it's really not even a thing." Of course, there are people, but
Just looking at Twitter memes.
Sager says Waterworld. Isn't that a movie with
Waterworld
Kevin
was
Costner?
Kevin Costner.
I've never seen that movie.
I never saw it. I saw like pieces. I always
Yeah.
see it on TV, like where
I
it's
didn't
at the
think it
end
was-
or something.
They trashed
People
that movie.
trash that movie.
I didn't think it was that bad.
What was the concept of it?
It was the world had flooded, right? And it was actually him just trying to survive, this dirty world. And then at the end they end up finding sort of like, Noah's Ark, whatever. They end up finding land at the end. So it was like some type of hope, in it. But I didn't see anything wrong with it. Like it wasn't the greatest movie, but it was pretty good to me.
Yeah, I just remember everyone makes fun of that movie. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever sit through it. I just like you're on water the whole time. I don't know.
Someone who's been killing it lately, though. This chick right here, one of the best Democrats in the game.
Tulsi.
How come we have no audio?
Last channel. Press it. Try pressing the top one. No.
I like what she said recently about how Adam Schiff is more dangerous than.
Is it going to 1 and 2? Check the button at the bottom. Make sure it's going to the main output.
It is pressed in.
Okay, that's weird. Oh, maybe. Let me see.
Rights
There
and
we
turn
go.
our the mob that stormed the Capitol on January 6th to try to stop Congress from carrying out its constitutional responsibilities were behaving like domestic enemies of our country. But let's be clear. The John Brennans, Adam Schiffs, and the oligarchs in big tech who are trying to undermine our constitutionally protected rights and turn our country into a police state with KGB-style surveillance are also domestic enemies and much more powerful and therefore dangerous than the mob that stormed the Capitol.
Boom.
Now, John Brennan said,
This is why they
So
hate
I
her,
know
yo.
looking forward that
they
the
don't
members
like
of the Biden team who have been nominated or have been appointed are now moving in laser-like fashion to try to uncover as much as they can about what looks very similar to insurgency movements that we've seen overseas, where they germinate in different parts of a country and they gain strength, and it brings together an unholy alliance frequently.
You hear what
of
how he's framing this?
religious extremists,
Religious
authoritarians,
extremists.
fascists, bigots, racists, nativists, even libertarians.
Nativists. That's the term.
that's a term.
I knew it was something different than
something-
nationalists.
Yeah.
It was nativists. Nativists. That's the term.
That's the new term.
Okay.
That's the term that they're throwing at. You hear him say it right there. He's on MSNBC giving the whole spiel about how anybody who's religious is the extremist and bigot and racist and, you know what I mean, nativists. Nativists. Everybody listen to that term.
What does that even mean?
It means that you prioritize.
Google defines it. The first definition, relating to or supporting the policy of protecting the interests of native-born or established inhabitants against those of immigrants.
Bam. There you go.
So they're trying. So it's basically like that's their attack on trying to give any illegal, like against any illegal.
Right. Anyone who has any opposition to the immigration policies of the Democrats can be labeled a nativist. They always have to have that label they can stamp on you to just hurl an insult.
I'm pretty sure they're trying to just destroy this country.
It's obvious.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they're trying to do the Great Reset.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you got to destroy this country.
James said, Moon, it was that bad. Even you explaining it sounds bad.
What?
I think he's talking about Waterworld.
Yeah.
Nicole Evans Dawkins. Hey, she said, "Hey fam, what's up? Long time no see." Me and Nicole used to sit next to each other in homeroom all the time because we have the same last name. But let's keep playing this.
I call upon you and all members of Congress from both parties to denounce these efforts by the likes of Brennan and others to take away our civil liberties that are endowed to us by our Creator and guaranteed in our Constitution. If you don't stand up to these people now, then our country will be in great peril.
You see, this is why they're coming at her so hard. She's not even in Congress anymore. You know what I mean?
She's not. Wow.
And I think that's why she's speaking out even more. That's the problem. Like, Liz has been watching this this show on Netflix. It's all about. It's with Keith Sutherland. I never saw it, but it's like the whole
designated survivor.
Designated survivor.
Yeah.
So it's like someone bombed the Capitol building and the entire
Congress,
president, vice president, everybody died.
They're all dead.
Right? So like some dude that was like the Secretary of Transportation or something was like the only one left in the government. It's Keith Sutherland, and he becomes the president. So they have to like go through the process of like figuring out how this happened and then appoint like all these members to Congress and like the Speaker of the House and all this stuff. And it gives you an insight into like you don't get in those positions if you're not just all about political games, like just all about power and chess moves. You know what I mean? Like there is no like caring about the people. Like you can't work like someone like her who thinks like that and says those things. You can't have a career. Like the fact she only got in because she's from Hawaii. You know what I mean? Like she got in through that. Like if she was trying to run for Congress in any major city or something, like never. You know what I mean? But you can't operate in that way and be successful in the political arena, Republican or Democrat, because they just don't care enough. It's all about jockeying for position, working out their next election, working out like who they owe favors to. You know what I mean? Like that's.
I mean, you see it. You see how you have people like Mitchie boy.
Yeah, Mitchie.
You know, and how he just flips, or even Lindsey Graham, yeah.
All these people.
Yeah, they just switch up because, and it's funny, like even what happened at the, like, riddle me this, Batman. How do you go from trying to, how do you go from voting on the, what's it called? The electoral, right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you're just not going to do it.
Yeah.
Because of how does one thing equate the other?
Yeah.
Just because some people stormed, how does that have to do with the election?
That's what they used.
But it has nothing to do with it. So the fact that they did that just shows like they just used it.
Yeah.
They just used it.
That's what the point. That's why they only had 2 security guards You know what
Right,
I mean?
but
because they knew we're going to use this
But
to push
that's the
through
point.
everything we want. You
we
know what I
gotta
mean?
see that they did it for it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Them saying that and then just going so strong against it.
Yeah.
Like it's the worst thing in the world when they've been allowing cities to be destroyed all over America for their own political gain.
Right.
You know?
And they still don't denounce that stuff that's going on. Like in Portland, they're still rioting to this day, and all through Oregon and Portland. Like the mayor, I think the mayor he sprayed somebody with pepper spray.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy over there. They're not talking about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Couple comments. James said she is the only one willing to speak up. Career politicians are a big part of this problem we are having now. Exactly. Career politicians are the problem, especially these 30-year established. I mean, that's who they elected. They elected one of those. Yep. You know what I mean? Saker said someone is pulling the trigger on our nation. As I said, we have to come together. I agree, something big is happening, and many of the world nation and ours will suffer. I mean, I think we are headed towards something. Whether it's like you suffer or not, that's something different. Like I think
it's inevitable to have to suffer, but it's just about how much we gotta suffer. You know,
right? Like
how much. And what he said, we have to come together. We have to agree, but we can't agree on our own idea of what we agree on. It's got to be lined with God because, again, all these plans they got, all these covert operations that they got going on, God supersedes it. So we have to agree with what he's saying. We got to seek him. We got to humble ourselves.
That's the only way we can dodge all these traps.
Right.
Just like the scripture you read. He keeps you from falling in those traps. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like that's the only way because they're everywhere. Yeah. Show this one right here. Here goes a trap right here. I just saw this on Twitter. Breastfeeding isn't natural and it makes moms anti-vaxxers.
What? Explain.
So that's the epitome of natural.
But that's crazy to me. It's like Rachel Levine is a professor of pediatrics and psychiatry, and the American Academy of Pediatrics just stated that we need to stop describing breastfeeding as natural because it's a gateway drug and slippery slope to anti-vax. So, like,
I still don't understand
because this is what they do. So, because anti-vaxxers will say that the breastfeeding provides the antibodies that babies need, and you don't need to be shooting them up with all of these vaccines. They're saying that breastfeeding leads to this is what they do with everything. Watching YouTube leads to right-wing extremists. You know what I mean? Like, oh, if we let Alex Jones exist on YouTube, then we're gonna have Dylan Roof or whatever the dude's name is that shot up the church. Like they equate those things. You know what I mean? Like that's what they do all the time. That's the tactic. It's to get rid of everything.
And then you're always going back and forth. It's the waves, dude. Yeah, you're in the waves and you're being tossed.
Why don't they get rid of McDonald's? Then why don't they get rid of fast food? Because it leads to obesity, one of the major problems in the U.S.
Because it's all about the spells and the hypocrisy, dude. The fact that they talk about all these animal rights and they love me and Rachel were talking about this the other day, how people will be more excited to greet your dog than your child. You know what I mean?
Bro, that just reminded me of last week.
Okay.
How I just found out that we were talking about stray dogs, and John had mentioned, John and Rachel, they mentioned that if you find a stray dog and you take it to the pound or whatever like that, they put it down within 48 hours.
Yeah.
And it blew my fucking mind. I'm sorry, I cussed. But it literally blew my mind, the way this world is.
Moon's face was literally like, what are you talking about? I thought you're dog people. And we are, especially like Philly. Come on now.
It's-
48 hours?
To me, it's like so hypocritical.
They are. There's a bunch of organizations, I will say, pushing to make Philadelphia a no-kill shelter, or a no-kill city rather. So like that's in the works. Like we want to not kill any of the animals, but like how do you do that? Like where are they gonna go, bro? Where are you gonna? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you gonna open 35 new shelters?
A lot of times rescues step in and take these dogs, but sometimes they're overrun too, so they can't.
Yeah, they can't physically do it.
But it literally blew my mind the way people,
You know what blows my mind? I was talking to, I forget, it might have been Rachel the other day, but you know what blows my mind? Like sometimes I'll sit there, and it happened to me the other day when I was picking up my kids from school, and I was watching two people with their dogs, and the dogs were like trying to like get at each other. And I'm watching them holding these dogs on the leash, and I just had like this out of body experience where I was like, "What are we doing? Like, why are we just walking around with leashed animals? Like, and it's just so normal now. It's like you see people walking with their dogs, and it's like this has become so normal, but it's really weird. Like, if someone plopped into this scenario, knew nothing about Earth, and saw people like walking around with their dog, like these animals on leashes." Or like holding them, like it's weird.
Yeah.
And some people have them in like baby carriages.
Yeah.
And we're the ones wearing muzzles.
Right, but we got masks on. Our dogs don't have to wear it. It's just kind of strange when you think about it. Like you have this dog on this leash, preventing it from escaping you because you love it and you want it to love, and it loves you, but you have to like keep it, you know what I mean, locked away, keep it in your house because it might run away. Like, it's just a weird thing that we do that no one
It's just funny because I know people that walk their dog in strollers. So
some people just
that's not walking.
some people I think use a leash just for other people.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm just saying, like, just the idea of having pets, just the idea of it. I know it seems so normal, but it's actually not normal. Like, when you really think about it.
I mean, it's based off of what's normal because it's normal in terms of America.
Well, the world, really.
World,
yeah. Well, I think the Western world more.
Yeah.
More. So, people. I mean, I even understand using dogs for like hunting and stuff like that. But what it's turned into, which
it's become. Yeah, it's become a way to separate yourself from people.
Yeah,
to have a companion. What do people always say? You don't.
Man's best friend.
No, but I mean, like the dog doesn't talk back. You know what I mean?
Mine does.
And it's like you see a lot of couples replacing kids with dogs.
Yep.
Or cats, whatever. You see that a lot. Like a lot of these couples that just don't want to have kids, but they'll have an animal.
That's, but I mean, you hit it though. That's what animals were for, right? The ox was, to help till the ground or whatever that. Whatever you use that animal for. Dogs were used for hunting
or herding
sheep,
traveling.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, traveling. Yeah, and then it just becomes this thing that we force to love us so that we can have a companion. Like, it's weird.
I was just talking to Nita about because Noah love what's the dog, the short dogs with the chubby legs? What the heck?
French bulldog or a bulldog?
No.
Dotson?
No.
Corgi?
Oh, Corgi.
Corgi.
Yeah.
No, he loves those dogs.
Oh, okay.
And I look at it, I'm like, how do you survive in nature if you
but a lot of those dogs, most of those dogs that have been bred that way, they have problems.
They do.
They have
a lot of medical problems.
Pugs.
Some of them are C-sectioned.
Yeah.
So they cost so much money.
Like they can't have natural puppies, bulldogs. Like a lot of these.
So isn't that inhumane? Like, you're breeding these type of things. So it's
That's
another hypocritical thing.
It's selfish.
It is
because you're only doing it because it looks cute in your eyes.
Right,
yeah.
Dude. There's
really
a whole
selfish.
category called toy breeds. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because of the way what are they for? They're literally just so you have something to play with. Like,
That's in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, it's crazy. Emma just commented. He said, "Dog lovers won't be able to survive in Africa. Dogs sleep outside and hunt their food. LOL. Yeah, I know.
That's how it was. Like when you read about dogs, like because I heard somebody talking about this like in ancient Israel where Jesus was talking about the dogs.
Yeah,
like that's because the dogs didn't live in houses.
Yeah.
Dogs weren't pets the way people.
Yeah. That's
like
what I'm saying.
It was a whole nother thing.
Yeah,
you know?
when I went to Trinidad and went around their neighborhood, it's dogs everywhere.
That's how it is in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, like dogs aren't in the house.
Mm-hmm.
What? Like dogs are just roaming the streets, and most of them are like mangy, you know.
Yeah. Remember when we were in St. Lucia and that dog had like that tumor on his face?
Yeah, on the beach.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. Yeah, I mean it is sad, but it's just weird. Sager said it's weird. Julian, seriously, we are moving fast in this world. We rob ourselves of understanding and feeling and sensing to the surrounding nature and its element. Yeah. I think we've become so self-centered in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Where
it's like if it doesn't serve me, then I don't care about it.
We're our own central intelligence.
Yeah. Right.
Right. So now we're just looking at whatever sounds good to me.
But that breastfeeding thing is weird because it's like these are the same people that love animals. How do you think animals feed their babies?
Exactly.
Yo, I am telling you that this is about. It's about no integrity.
Right.
No, they don't have integrity because you can go from one thing and then another month you're on a whole nother thing.
Right.
And you're saying something contrary to what you just said.
Yeah.
Because it sounds good because things have shifted.
Yeah.
There's no integrity.
Right.
And that's the problem. And if you have no integrity, you're going to fall for anything.
Right.
It's literally like wherever the wind blows, that's where you blow.
Right.
You know?
Oh, this is what we doing now?
Yeah.
It's just like the mask. Fauci said masks don't work. Don't get a mask. Like it's pointless. You mess it up, you touch it, and then you get some schmutz on it. And
schmutz.
That's what he said. And then later on comes out and says, no, you have to wear a mask. The only reason I said that is because I wanted to make sure our medical professionals had all the masks they needed.
So you were lying to us.
Yeah. Mom says, I saw a video of a man with two people on leashes acting like animals. So crazy. Yeah. I mean, we're not even getting it.
Weird.
Remember in the early days of the podcast, I would show those Vice clips of like people with those weird sex fetishes.
Oh, yeah.
No, remember the one with the bugs?
No. Yeah, the dude that would put bugs on his
on his junk. Remember that?
His John.
Yeah. Or like talk about filling a jar full of worms and like people that only get pleasure from bugs. You know, like what? Yeah. What are we doing?
We were talking about that, like, being just like going with the wind, know? And it reminded me of Ephesians and the whole point of like there being like apostles, prophets, evangelists. It's funny how shepherds are fourth in that, which people always think, pastors
are the top
they're
of the
fourth
food
in
chain.
that.
Yeah.
And teachers. The reason why is because they're leaders. That's the fivefold. It's for, and it says literally for equipping the saints, for the building of the body of Christ, right? But it's all the body of Christ. But we move by the intelligence of God. It's by the mind of Christ, right? It's the mind of God, and those who seek the mind of God are the ones who should be leading,
right?
But you have a lot of people who aren't integral, you know what I mean, and are just doing whatever they feel, or
whatever makes them look good, whatever the polls say,
because they got a degree.
Right.
Because they went and did some work.
They went to an
and
institution that told them,
And now you went to a seminary, or you have something that says, I have the right to tell you what to do. Shut up and sit down and listen to this. Right. But they really just going with the wind.
Right.
And so when you go further in this, it says, until we attain the unity of the faith and the knowledge of the Son of God to mature manhood, to the measure and stature of the fullness of Christ. And then it says, so that we may no longer be children tossed to and fro by every wave and carried about by every wind of doctrine.
Yeah.
By human cunning. Listen, by human cunning and by craftiness and deceitful schemes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you see happening all around us right now.
Dude, that's what the first verse of Take Me Home is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, drifted away far from the place we started, tossed by the waves, further and further from your heart.
Go back to your first love.
Yeah.
Ephesians. This is Ephesians, right?
Yeah.
He's speaking into the church of Ephesians.
That's what Joseph Z was talking about.
Yeah.
Go back to your first love.
Yeah.
Let's show this meme real quick. 125 years ago, you didn't have to ask permission from the government to collect rainwater, go fishing, own property, start a business, renovate your home, build a home, use transportation vehicles, get married, hunt, own a weapon, cut hair, sell a product, protest, grow food on your property, set up a lemonade stand, sell food. You can do virtually nothing without being extorted by the government and obtaining their permission first. If you still think you're free, you are deluding yourself. You live in a tax farm as free-range humans.
You're not going to show that one before it either?
Oh, no, I'm not going to. Oh, you saw that one? We can show. Now I want to talk about this one first.
Okay.
So I think it's not that people don't realize. I think that people, like you said, people make that compromise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm willing to pay the government to provide me with the comforts that I have.
Right.
So I'll give up the fact that I can't buy property or own a business or do these things, have a gun. Like, I have to go through the government to get these things because they're providing me with, you know, some sense of a stable economy and a job and you know, my iPhone and my Wi-Fi.
Safety
and
from all
Yeah.
these
What's the?
yeah.
It's legislation. It's over legislation. It's too much law. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank of what's that called. When you have too much law, or regulations.
Okay, yeah,
That's
regulations.
What it is. There's
yeah.
too many regulations.
Yeah.
You're over regulated.
Right.
That's the issue. And you see that like in New Jersey, like we were talking about that with James, how like the construction industry, it's overly regulated.
Right. But think about why that happens, though, because you have these people that get these huge contracts to build this entire development. Now, if they cut corners on that whole development and all these houses kill 1,000 people, now you have to implement some law to regulate that doesn't happen again in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So
but it should have never been there that way in the first place.
That's what I'm saying. So part of the problem is like
people,
our integrity.
Yeah, but it starts with the legislators because they're giving these things away to these people that mess it up.
Right. Then they have to create a law to fix what they messed up. Yeah. So it's this vicious cycle.
And then, but it really just like all it does is destroy the people at the bottom, because then only the people at the top can really cover the regulations.
They're the only. It's just like now. Like when you look at all of these restaurants that could only open if they hit all of these marks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only ones that were at a certain level. It's like it's a paywall.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you have to be at a certain corporate level to stay in business and meet all these regulations.
Yeah,
and what does that do? It benefits the Jeff Bezoses, the Walmarts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the people that have their buddies in government are the ones that put those regulations in place to squash out the smaller guys.
Right. That's what the issue was when Jesus came. And to the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they were overly regulating in his law. They were overly interpreting his law and adding to it.
Right.
And adding to it. And he's like healing people on the Sabbath, and they're trying to come against that. Like, what? Because their mindset was already like, no, you can't do that because you got to do this. And if you do that, that's going to break this. So they were already trained into that overly regulated.
What did he do? He went back to the basics on them and was like, yo, if someone's lamb or a sheep falls in the pit, wouldn't they just take it out?
Yeah.
You know what
I mean,
Like,
he said, they asked him about divorce. He was like, the only reason why Moses even put divorce in there basically was because you guys were hard in heart and you weren't able to deal with that.
Mhm.
But really, there is no divorce.
Right.
You know, if you want to really get down to it, there shouldn't be divorce. But because you guys don't know how to trust God enough, that Moses spoke that.
Mhm.
But it was a stipulation. And see, it's all people are. If you're in the mindset of, well, how can I finagle this law?
Right.
You're
What's the loophole?
That's the.
If you're always looking for the
Yeah.
loophole, then you're already compromised.
Yeah, and that's what destroys the law.
Mhm.
You're not trying to uphold the law. You're trying to destroy the law. You're trying to
Subvert it.
You're trying to subvert it for your own interest, for your own gain.
Yeah.
That's selfishness.
Yeah.
That's not God. But when you're looking towards God, okay, God, what do you mean by this? Because really, Jesus says the whole law is summed up by love God with all your heart. Like,
love your neighbor as you love yourself.
right. It's all summed up by that.
Right.
So he's like, listen, your burden is heavy. I'm trying to make it light.
Right.
But you want to keep it heavy because you want to abide by all these regulations that I really don't have on you. You're adding to it. And that's what we're seeing in this country now. They're going to add and add and add and add and add. And it's just going to cause more oppression to people.
But why? Think about it. The incentive to add is there because it justifies their cushy jobs and their lifestyles and their pay. You know what I mean? Like they have to continue to have all these staffers and you know these flights back and forth to Washington because there's so much to do. You know what I mean?
The epitome of
So much to do, but they never get anything done.
right.
it's the epitome of injustice that is allowed because of compromise.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, it's like, okay, well then how are you? It should be obvious to people, but it's not because people are compromised in it. But it should be obvious that they can't carry the burden of governing
Yeah.
because they don't uphold the law. You know what I mean? You're not upholding the law. Literally, you're not upholding it. You're subverting it for your own gain or for the gain of others, but for your own gain. So you're helping others. You help me, I'll help you.
Yeah.
The
Scratch
other,
my back, I'll
yeah.
scratch
What's
yours.
the one hand washes the other?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
all these sayings that's not the way God intended it. You know, that's not justice. If you're looking out for somebody just because, that's not real justice. If just because you're my brother, you know, you're my brother, I shouldn't treat you different than anybody else.
Right.
I should treat that person that I don't know the same in terms of how I interact with them and the respect and honor that I show them.
Right.
It's not based off of how they act towards me. You know what I mean? When we fight with, I mean, and of course that's like, it doesn't happen a lot of times,
Right.
but I'm saying that's how it should be, and that's what we're learning, you know, and you don't see that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I think that's a good place to wrap it up. How you guys feel? Anybody else got anything they want to say? Should I show
I
this
wanna see
meme,
that
John?
meme.
There you go. Bam. Hi, my name is Megan, and I'm here for Girls Track. The Girls Track.
He probably get beat because he's so big.
I
bro.
know, right? He probably gets smoked.
Didn't
But-
Biden just?
Yeah,
sign
That's
that?
what it's coming at.
Yeah, it's coming at that. The thing to allow trans women to compete in teen sports. You know what I'm saying?
That are funded by by government,
Right.
basically.
Right. Yeah.
So mostly like
Any of the schools that are funded by government, yeah.
like the colleges.
So it's like colleges, some of these high schools.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I saw an article showing like wrestling, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
you gotta be real with yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But people are so what?
Did you hear what you just said?
Yes, you gotta be honest. Like
But that's not.
it's the
But that's not what's happening.
if you grew up, you were born a male, and then you decide at 17 you're a girl now, you feel like a girl, and then you go into wrestling and you win everything.
Yeah.
You
cheated.
You cheated.
You cheated.
But when we're cultivating a culture that you're hiding, everything is about hiding. You're not hiding your true intention is, dude, that's a win. Like people, that's how you win. You know what I'm saying?
That's how you win then.
But that's what I'm saying. So we have to
the MMA person that fought the woman that bashed her skull in. You don't feel bad that you grew up a man, and then you decide to become a woman. You get in the octagon with a woman, and you bash your skull in. You don't feel bad. You don't think there's nothing wrong with it.
Not if you just want to win.
You're looking at it from your perspective.
Yeah.
You can't. That's not how we are effective in culture. You know what I mean? That's like you're like, I don't understand, and then there's a gap there. You know what I mean?
Hey Courtney, what's up?
But I think that we have to be the thing that changes the culture, upholds the culture in that way. Those people are already compromised.
Todd said, why can't they have 3 teams? Men, women, and all others.
Right.
Because
start your own league.
But not only that, but
there's not enough of them.
Trans league.
That wouldn't work. Yeah, there's not enough, first of all. And second of all, it wouldn't work because the trans men or trans boys are still going to get beat by their women. You know what I'm saying? Like the trans boys are girls transitioning into boys. But like they still going to get beat by the trans girls. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same thing. It's the same exact thing.
What are we talking about?
Why they couldn't?
I know. I'm just saying, like, we're going down a thought pattern that we don't even need to go down.
Yeah.
Saker said, let's do a Zoom sometime, guys. Love the conversation. Lots to say. Yeah, we got to get
Let's
you
do
in.
It, man.
We could bring you in anytime. We can send you a link. I found out through Wirecast. We can just send a link directly through Wirecast.
Is Saker the one that we did a Zoom with?
No.
Oh. I don't know who did one with.
That was Hauka. Yeah.
I don't know these people.
He's like, these foreign names, I don't know this
These
stuff.
foreign names.
I'm white out in these streets.
I'm new over here.
Mom said having a social security number is being controlled by the government. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't know about the when they sold this country out as a corporation. What was it, 1871?
Jake.
Yeah.
And they gave.
I thought it was 1867, but
1867.
I might be wrong.
I don't remember when they sold us out to the Vatican, and we officially became a corporation.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about that. A lot of people don't know when this stopped being a country and became a corporation. But what else was? Oh, I want to show this meme real quick because it was funny. We were talking about nativists, and someone made a meme talking about that. So the top one says natives. It's a map of Africa, and it says natives should have total power and control over their homeland and decide what to do with it. And the clear SJW is like, OMG, yes, so true. And then this is a map of Europe, and it says natives should have total power and control over their homeland and decide what to do with it. And then they say, no, that's racist. So it's like, it only works in the scenario that they want it to work in. It's always like that with these ideas.
But that's the wind. You know what I mean? It blows.
Right.
It's blowing where it wants.
Right. Breastfeeding is bad when you're a human, but animals, we love it when they do it. You can't bottle feed an animal because that's cruelty. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, guys.
What's that Bob Dylan song? My friend. I'm not going to attempt to remember it.
Thanks, Saker. We'll hit you a link sometime to jump in on the conversation. Steve just joined. What's up, Steve? We'll see you tomorrow, buddy. Thanks for popping in at the end. You missed all the talk about Avengers and Star Wars and stuff like that. All the stuff that we actually brought you up earlier because your story of how James Earl Jones didn't want to be Darth Vader.
Steve's repeats.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind.
Okay. Which song is that from?
That's Bob Dylan.
No, what song?
Blowing in the wind.
Oh, okay. Blowing in the wind.
But it's like not exactly. Not exactly is it blowing in the wind, but it can be.
Yeah.
It all depends on what wind you're listening to.
Or it depends on like
what wind you're flowing with.
Yeah, what are you flowing with? If you going with whatever the trend is now, then yeah, the answer is blowing in the wind. My mom said there's lots of men that would crack women's skulls in. I mean, that's a fact. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We should not have opposite biological sexes fighting each other. Like, that should not be happening.
Yeah.
You know. But let's wrap it up here, guys. Oh, did y'all want to do a song at all? No?
Nah.
Okay. He never wants to do a song.
No, I mean, I don't know. I just don't feel like it.
No one asked this week anyway, so I guess y'all don't want to hear no song. We're going to get out of here. We appreciate everyone who has been chiming in, everyone who tuned in this week. We love you guys. Just remember to keep supporting. Sager, we're going to hit you up to try to get you on. Yeah, we can get anybody in on like a Zoom type of thing. We should start reaching out to some more people. But yeah, we appreciate you guys. Make sure if you want to support, you can go to our Patreon, patreon.com/YoungLionTV. And also you can just you can get merch on the Jatan.com site and music. And also Jake was saying we should mention the Cash App. We got it. Just hit up Young Lion TV on Cash App. Boom. $ Young Lion TV. If you want to donate to the conversation, donate to, our whole cause, our whole mission is to keep raising up young lions. And young lions are people of any age. It's just the idea of, coming into that full-grown spirit of the lion, the king of the jungle.
Lion Tribe of Judah.
Lion Tribe of Judah. Yeah. But, yeah, you can always donate and support that way as well. But sharing the video always helps as well, and hitting the like button. But we will see you guys next week. And, yeah, everybody have a good week. God bless.
Young Lion, go live, yeah. Young Lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah. Going